Greg Jennings joining us now, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. Okay, I want to start with Tebow before I get into the Packers. So I just said this. Have you seen the show Ted Lasso yet?
I have not.
Okay. It's corny and it's hopeful and it's optimistic, but it's a TV show and it's actually funny. It's totally unrealistic. A Division II college football coach wins, and he gets hired to coach an English Premier League soccer team, and he's never watched soccer. Again, it's totally unrealistic, but it works as a TV show, right? It works because he's a likable character. The writing's very funny. Tim Tebow to the NFL feels like that. It's overly optimistic and hopeful. The fact that he's going to put his hand in the dirt and try to block a defensive end 8 years out of the league, I wonder if that locker room in Jacksonville saying, come on, bro, really? Like, I don't know. Greg, it feels very hokey and collegiate to me. Do you think the locker room buys into it?
You know, that's the question. I'm not certain. They have a young locker room, and so that's what gives me hope. If they were more of a veteran locker room, then I think this would not work even speaking about it, because you got to think about what this looks like for so many players. They work their tails off each and every year to make a roster. And then you see a guy who comes in who has been out of football for the length and the duration of time that Tim Tebow has been out of, not coming back to play the position that he was once in the league for playing another position, and he's on the roster, like he's there with an opportunity, and it's so hard for these young men to even get an opportunity.
Yeah.
It wouldn't come across great for a lot of veteran guys. And so when you're thinking about young guys, they have to kind of embrace it because it is what it is. They don't know any better.
Yeah. I mean, again, Rudy worked because it was a blowout game. It's one play. It's college. There's all sorts of walk-ons in college. It's kind of a fun story. This feels like walk-ons in the NFL. And remember, you're taking somebody's roster spot. So I just...
Correct.
I think you're going to get a lot of whispers in that locker room like, dude, you couldn't play baseball either. It is crazy. Like, I mean, let's be honest. If you were in Jacksonville's locker room, there's already a tiny, tiny, tiny bit of skepticism about college coach into the locker room. A little bit. You don't want to admit it, but a little bit. I just feel like that tripled, right? Like you would have a conversation at lunch with a guy saying, there'd be a lot of whispers, right? In the cafeteria.
It would be. Here's the problem. It's not going to only be a lot of whispers in that locker room and within that organization. There's going to be a lot of chat. There's going to be tons of chatter across the league, because when you allow a guy, and I don't want to say allow, when you afford an opportunity like this to a guy like Tim Tebow, and I remember I heard Shannon say this on Undisputed a while back. He's been one of those guys that's been always trying to stay in that limelight, continuing to pursue his dreams, his goals, his aspirations, all these bucket list things. And for this to be one of them, it just seems so disrespectful for the guys who are qualified and who have played that position for so long and who have worked their tails off to try to earn a roster spot, and you don't even consider them. You go to a guy who's not put his hand in the dirt, who you have not seen play at this level, at that position, and you just give him that opportunity. That is what the chatter is going to be about, and it can cause rifts, not only within that locker room, but across the league when you talk about other players who we know. Colin Kaepernick is out there, and he hasn't been afforded an opportunity that many people think he should be afforded.
Yeah, it is interesting. It's almost like a blind spot for Tim Tebow. He just doesn't understand that he's a great college player, but in professional circles, Major League Baseball players rolled their eyes at him, and NFL guys at the end rolled their eyes at him. They did. I'm just being honest. He went to New England. They couldn't get him on the field. He went to New York. They couldn't get him on the field.
Joy said it. Players talk. Players know immediately who can play and who cannot play. And this is one of those guys. There's likability there. I get it. There's a relationship there between he and Urban Meyer. But as far as playing football on that level, the National Football League level, Tim Tebow has just not cut it. He's just not cut it.
Yeah. Good stuff, Greg. And Greg Jennings, Fox